What's up, everybody? Happy Monday morning. We're laughing because my new videographer wants me to clap before I get started. Now I'm doing funny claps so we can make a montage of them one day. And the whole room's laughing right now. And by the whole room, I mean 2 people. But, but ultimately, here we are. I use the word ultimately a lot. I need to work on that. We'll figure it out. But ultimately, today's lesson or message. So I just got done reading Leadership Not by the Book. It's a really good book about leading your business like via God or the Bible. And so it's by the CEO of Hobby Lobby. This guy's run this business for like 50 years and talking about the ups and downs of the journey and his, his walking with his business, his wife, his family, and Christ and everything else. And but part of the book was talking about how failure is so much a part of the process. And like I'm a big fan of like Theodore Roosevelt and some of those early 1900s like successful people, and even modern day success like Elon Musk. They're all recipes of failure, where they did something, learned, failed, tried something different, learned, failed. And ultimately, I think there's so many people out there afraid to fail that they get afraid to try, or they get afraid to go all in, or because of failure, like this failure is going to define them. But ultimately, those who are the most successful tend to get that way via failure. And so I started thinking about, where has failure played a role in my life? How does failure play a role in most people's lives? How does failure impact or change people? And I think what failure does, and I've talked about this in previous episodes, like it makes you remember that this too shall pass. Nothing's ever as good or as bad as you think it is. And it allows you to keep a more even-keeled approach to problem solving, to the journey, to business or life or fitness or whatever it is you're working on. But I think failure allows you patience. It gives you humbleness. It gives you empathy. It gives you, obviously, the lessons that you learned that you wouldn't do again with, like, we've all had cash flow issues or payroll issues or production issues or content or leadership or marriage or parenting. Like, we've all had failures, and you learn the lessons from those and you get better at them and you evolve. But I think specifically, if you don't give yourself permission to fail, you will never get some of those skill sets or attributes that are clearly painted across many people who have succeeded at a very high level. Maybe you know of somebody, and you can feel free to shoot me a DM about it, that catered exceptional, extreme success without failure. I don't personally know of anybody, whether I've read about them or studied them or whatever. Everybody has failed pretty majorly at some point in their career. And I think until you've been at rock bottom, for me, it was in my emotional, in my spirit, my spiritual, emotional, mental health. Like I was, I attempted suicide in 2019. Like that was my rock bottom. For other people, it's bankruptcies. For other people, it's divorce. For other people, it's drug addictions or porn addictions or alcohol addictions or whatever. Everybody has their rock bottom. Everybody has their story that they don't want anybody to know about, and because it's like the rock bottom. But what comes from that is the ability to understand why you're crawling out of that rock bottom. And I think that gives perspective that allows you to put so much higher perspective, like zooming out and realizing that the failures along the way don't define you. I'll never fail that bad again. God willing, the people around me I've put in place, the processes, the routines, the strategies, all the things that I put in place to make sure I don't fall that far again. Like I'll never weigh 330 pounds again. I reference it in my training, raising your floor, raising how bad you're willing to get. And so I hope I never get that far down again. But getting that far down taught me to believe in myself, to make decisions for me, to understand failure doesn't define me, to understand that taking bigger risks is okay, understanding that I don't have to be what everybody else wants me to be. I don't have to be for everybody all the time. I need to I prioritize myself more to have the energy to execute on the things I need to do. It taught me so many lessons. But I see so many people deathly afraid of failure to the point where they stop taking risks, which means you stop evolving, you stop learning, you stop getting the wins. With great risk comes great reward, but it can also become failure. But failure, I don't think, is as great as the rewards that come from trying. So if you look at the way humbleness and perspective and strategy and patience that comes into play post-failure, it's some of the most confident you'll ever be because it can't get worse. That's one of the best parts about rock bottom. When you're there, you're confident about taking decisions or taking action or making decisions and moving forward because it can't get worse. So what do I have to lose? It's when we start to get things or get some level of success or get some level of authority or influence or get some level of notoriety that we start getting afraid, where we think failure means we're not worth it anymore, or failure means we don't level up anymore, or failure means we didn't deserve what we had anyway, and that's just not the truth. It's one step, it's one part, it's one journey. It doesn't define who I am or what I want to be known for. It doesn't define my ability to succeed in life. It doesn't define what I'm capable of in the long run. It only defines an outcome of a specific risk. That's all failure is. It defines the level of outcome from a specific risk you took. Then you get to show up tomorrow, try again. Hopefully. Luckily for me, I survived my bout with rock bottom. But really, you just show up tomorrow and try again. Another attempt, another risk, another strategy, another input with hopefully getting a more desired outcome. But ultimately, failure is just an outcome of an intentional risk you took. That's it. Doesn't define you, doesn't define what you're capable of, what's possible for you and your life and your family and your legacy and everything else that you want to accomplish. Doesn't define any of that. So get more comfortable with the thought of failure, and ultimately the rewards will be greater because the risks that you take and the willingness to believe in yourself and the willingness to say, why not? Why couldn't this work? Why not me? Why can't I change my family legacy? Why can't I be wealthy? Why can't I have the things I want? Why can't I have the marriage I dream of? Why can't I have a great relationship with my kids? Why can't I be the one? Why not me? Maybe that risk and going all in on yourself is exactly what you need to get the desired result, the success, the outcome that you're looking for. Doesn't come with less risk. It just needs to give us perspective to properly analyze the threat of failure and what that failure means to us. But ultimately, humbleness, perspective, and an unwillingness to give up is what's necessary to overcome any obstacle or failure that's put in front of us. And I have zero doubt, if you are a part of my audience, just keep listening, and I will continue to give you the best of my ability to help you succeed on this journey that you're on right now to become the championship version of yourself.